Hi, and welcome to another episode of Talking with Tapolci. I'm your host, Jason Tapolci. In the past episodes, we've been talking about the scaling up cycle, which started from an ebook that I had written called Originating Profit. And I've decided to write another ebook, as painful as sometimes it may be. I sat down and I wanted to write a book about strategy. It's the beginning of the year. We just went through our whole strategic planning session and built our plans and made our projections to get approved by the board. And I wanted to share a little bit about how we do that here. And so to get started, I just want to identify strategy from my own point of view. I know there's many definitions out there, but I look at strategy as really two words. It's finding a pain and having a differentiator to solve that pain. So in your business, you need to identify and think, what is the pain for my market, your buyer persona? And identifying that pain, how are we going to solve that pain? And it's not good enough just to solve the pain like everybody else does. You must have a differentiator that is either it can't be copied, or it's very difficult and expensive to copy. And so I want to talk about, as an example for that, is Domino's Pizza. Back when they first got started, Domino's identified that moms out there would go out and buy frozen pizzas, and that was the big rave back then, was to order frozen pizzas. So the problem Domino's saw there was you had to have the pizza in your freezer, right? You had to heat up the oven, you had to cook it for 30 minutes to 45 minutes after it was heated up, and then you had to, any leftovers, you had to find a package to put them in your refrigerator. Well, Domino's said, well, we'll deliver your pizza in 30 minutes or it's free. We all remember that. And what makes that so great was they identified the pain. Pizza was becoming a big thing on a Friday night, a Saturday night, and the frozen pizzas were cleaning house. Domino's said, if I can deliver a pizza within 30 minutes, it's hot, fresh, and by the way, it has its own box for a storage container, people will eat that up. It's a differentiator. And so they did very well. They've since slowed down the service a little bit in exchange for some quality. There's about a dozen to 16 questions you need to ask yourself. They're going to be questions like, what is your BHAG, your brand promises? And they're listed in my ebook. I highly recommend reading them. And it can be very daunting to have 16 questions to answer, and how do you organize that in a format that everybody can understand, from your shareholders to your employees to the outside world. And what I've done was I'm a firm believer, as you all know, about the Gazelles Internationals. That's a leadership and growth summit that we attend twice a year. And they give us 4 tools to use that really help us with organizing those dozen to 16 questions. And I wanted to just go over them in a high level, and then I highly recommend, if you're interested in reading my ebook and learning a lot more about it. But the first one is your 7 strata. And your 7 strata is made up of like your sandbox, your brand promises, your brand promise guarantees, your profit per X, and your X factor, as well as your BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. And this is the meat and potatoes of your strategy. There's certain things on there that you don't want competitors or even all your employees to see, certain things like your X factor or your profit per X. Sometimes some companies like to keep that under wraps. So if you do you are a little bit larger company, you do have a strategy that is really complete in that 7 strata, I highly recommend using the vision summary. And the vision summary it's called the 4D vision summary, and it's just a smaller version of the 7 strata. It's things like your core values, your brand promises, your big, hairy, audacious goal. These are things that you want everybody to know. You may put them in your marketing materials. And so we recommend, if you are a smaller company, to start with the 4D vision summary. Okay, and if you're a more experienced company, we recommend still doing the 4D vision summary. However, we want you to do the full 1-page strategic plan, which I'm getting to in a moment here. And then so thirdly, one of the most important tools that any company should use is the SWOT analysis. Your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and trends. People call it threats, we call it trends. And it's very simple. On a high level, your strengths and weaknesses are internal. What internal strengths do you have and what internal weaknesses you have? You want to showcase your strengths and you want to work on your weaknesses. And a lot of the weaknesses turn into action items for that particular year. On the other hand, the SWOT analysis gives you opportunities and threats, and those are external. So in the marketplace, what opportunities are out there? What opportunities are coming around the corner that you can generate revenue off of? And what kind of trends are you seeing? Again, it's called threats. I like to use the word trends. I like to see that I see that the government's going to change taxation in telecommunications, and they have been, and so I better start to watch that and get ahead of the curve. And then finally, you have your one-page strategic plan, and that is pretty much the vision summary and the 7 strata and the SWOT all wrapped up into one document. And it's the one-page strategic planning document, but it's multiple pages. So I find that kind of humorous. And essentially what that's going to do is break everything down to all the way down to a quarter. So we're going to say, what do we want to do financially 3 to 5 years out? And what do we need to start laying the groundwork for? And then there's going to be a section on there for the 1-year goals and projections. So in order to reach the 3 to 5 year projections, we need to step up to 1 year. So you set your 1-year projections, you set your 1-year critical numbers, KPIs, key performance indicators. You create all of your tasks that need to be done, your critical tasks. You sign them to your team, and you set dates. And then throughout the year, you simply manage that plan through what we always talk about with Rockefeller: priority, rhythm, and data. So this is on a high level what my ebook's going to talk about. It goes into a lot more depth on all these subjects plus some more. So I definitely highly recommend checking it out. And I'm also going to be recording it on audio so that you can listen to it in your car or wherever you are. So again, I thank you for coming out. My name's Jason, and I'm Jason with Talking with Tapolci.